welcome to a double RSR. First off, we are reviewing LAFC 2, Toronto FC 0, because frankly, I ain't got much to say about this match. I'll say what I have to say, then we'll talk about the Blue Jays, because that matters more. That matters more because there's a lot to talk about, or at least a longer piece to be said, and why not save the good news for last? MLS 2025, Week 33, Toronto FC's draw streak is over. And LAFC scores 2 goals against the run of play off of 2 giveaways. Toronto does get close to scoring, especially the first half. They don't look too bad, but LAFC, it only looks like this because most of their best players are at international teams right now because their best players are good enough to play for national teams. So, there you go. It probably would have been 5 or 6-0 if Bouanga and Son were there. Probably. But with that being said, goals are scored as follows. 13th minute, bad giveaway by Alonso Coelho. Obobase heavily presses him, steals the ball from him, runs at goal because nobody else is there. Coelho was a man alone, no man's land. Obobase runs on Sean Johnson and slots it home 1-0. 1-0. Halftime, 1-0, 1-0, medio tiempo. 70th minute, Frankie Amaya scores. Pass blocked, bounces. Horrible giveaway from Cifuentes. Lands to Amaya on the break. At the near post, he slots it past Sean Johnson. He really could do nothing about it. 2-0, 2-0, full-time, 2-0, 2-0 esta noche. LAFC win, LAFC ganador. Full-time stats are as follows. 17 shots to 11, 7 shots on goal to 3, 45% possession to 55% possession, 491 pass to 610, 89% pass accuracy to 90%, 11 fouls to 10, 3 offside to 0, 1 yellow card to 1, 0 red cards to 0, 3 corners to 6. Let me tell you, Toronto had their moments moving forward, but in the end, they didn't really have it. They tried to walk it in, which is what made it look close, I guess. But they got close to scoring a couple of times. But defensively, midfield, And I love Alonso. I do. I think he's an amazing player. I hate that people are on his ass heavily tonight because, frankly, Robin Fraser should know how good Jeremy Obobase is and how much of a freaking house of fire he is on pressing. I think Fraser's tactics left Coelho inside of a position to look horrible. It's a horrible giveaway, but Fraser set him up to fail. He did. Fraser set Coelho up to fail. And I am so mad about that. I really am. I do not want to hear people shit on Coelho after that play. That's a Fraser problem. He was in no man's land because of the tactics, and Obobase came on closer and quicker than he expected, so Obobase gets the ball, goal. 2 goals against the run of play for LAFC. I'm not surprised. They looked like a rotated team, but they also looked like they still had the danger of a Bouanga Son LAFC. So there's that. TFC, they were playing out the string. They were playing a game that got postponed because of the Club World Cup. And they know they're eliminated, and they looked like they were eliminated. That's pretty much all I could say. No man of the match. Maybe a Obobase for that run. Yeah, we'll give it to him. But Toronto loses. A boring game. They looked okay, but they lost to a LAFC team they should have lost to. Point blank period. What else do you want me to say? So, yeah, there you go. That's what I think about the TFC game, but let's turn it over to Blue Jays, Ryan, to talk about the Toronto Blue Jays winning the ALDS. Thank you, TFC Ryan. Now we are talking about Toronto Blue Jays 5, New York Yankees 2, ALDS 2025 Game 4. The Toronto Blue Jays win the series and the game. They win 5-2 on the night. They win the series 3-1. We're going to the ALCS to play Seattle or Detroit. They play a Game 5 in Seattle, and we'll find out on Friday who we play. We have a couple extra days of rest. Game 1 on Sunday in Toronto, no matter what. And the Blue Jays, they're moving on. And they won the bullpen game. I can't believe it. 2 runs allowed by the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen. 2. 1 golfed home run and 1 Aaron Judge hit, because of course it was. But the Toronto Blue Jays played the way that you expect the Toronto Blue Jays to play. They bounced back heavily after Game 3 and the 3 errors and not playing like themselves. The Blue Jays bullpen locked in, just like the game against the Red Sox they had to have when they had to win the division. They had to beat the Red Sox once at least. And the way they put themselves, they had to win 1. And they did. And it was a bullpen game. And they won that game and then won 3 straight, won the division, had the bye, played the Yankees, and a bullpen game. They lose 1, but they win 1 in New York to end the series. They win the bullpen game. They don't win the game where Shane Bieber comes up and you think, you know what, with how good things are going, they should win this. And then they get a 6-1 lead and you're like, yeah, this should be over tonight. They should sweep. No. They win the game nobody thought they could. Not even me. Nobody thought they could win this game. They thought, oh, Cam Schlittler is going to deal. He only had 2 strikeouts. Yeah, he went long, but he got hammered. Like, it's a wonder. Like, the Yankees saved his ass multiple times. They made some really good defensive plays on the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays could barely find any holes, but when they did, it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good for the Toronto Blue Jays. Goals or runs were scored as follows. Top 1, Vladdy Jr. has an RBI single where George Springer scores. It's 1-0 Blue Jays. Bottom 3, Ryan McMahon with a solo home run. He golfs it one-handed off Flew Hardy into the short porch, 1-1. Top 5, the Jays get the lead back. Who would have thought? George Springer with a sac fly. Ernie Clement comes in to score. He's had a really good last 2 games, seriously. 2-1 Blue Jays. Top 7, Nathan Lucas with a 2-run RBI single. Clement and Jimenez come in to score, 4-1 Blue Jays. Top 8, Miles Straw with an RBI single. Alejandro Kirk comes in to score. It's 5-1 Blue Jays. And then bottom 9, off Jeff Hoffman, Aaron Judge golfs 1 to get an RBI single. And Jason Dominguez comes home to score, 5-2 Blue Jays. But the final, they strike out Bellinger, and the final is 5-2 for the Toronto Blue Jays, and they win the series 3-1. The Blue Jays advance to the ALCS for the first time in 9 years, and they will be playing the Detroit Tigers or the Seattle Mariners. 3 teams who are all waiting for success. The Jays and Tigers had some success the early 2010s, but the Mariners have waited longer. And Tyreek Skubal will go against the Mariners to try to finally win 1 game against them this year to send Detroit to Toronto. I'd prefer it, but that's neither here nor there. But the Blue Jays will have home field on Sunday evening. I would hope so. And we'll be live for Game 1, don't worry. No matter who it is. The Toronto Blue Jays win. Man, look at that bullpen. Nobody thought that bullpen would be that nails. 2 earned runs. 2 runs allowed by that bullpen after the shit shows they threw out Game 3 and, 2 and 3. And I'll call them what they are. They're shit shows. The only reason Game 2 isn't talked about that much is because we won by so much. Game 3, well, we saw what happened. But the bullpen locked down. Locked down. And they used most of the high leverage arms early. Varland, Flew Hardy, Sir Anthony, Yariel. Like, the last 3 innings were led by Little, Fisher, and Hoffman. They didn't even use Yepez. And we won this game without using Trey Savage. Who would have thought? Like, if you asked me, hey, they won 5-2, Ryan, what do you think happened? I'd be like, well, Varland went an inning or two. Lauer went 3. They went to Yepez, to Bridge, to Sir Anthony, Yariel, and Hoffman for about 3 or 4. Or something like that. There's no way they use Little. Maybe they use Fluharty. Maybe if they get into a jam to clean up the inning. But there's no way they use Little or Fisher or Brule or Nance, which they didn't do. But no Yepez. He's lined up for games 1 and 2. Whatever they choose to do. Whatever they choose to do. I mean, damn. John Schneider had the perfect game plan. And Pete Walker, I cannot believe they pulled this off. I can't believe it. The Toronto Blue Jays pulled off that. Man, that's a bounce back. That's a bounce back. I have to say, the bullpen had to lock in. They did. Maybe they threw shitty just to cover their own asses. Those 2 games. Because they knew they had to look good here. Maybe it worked. I don't know. Maybe it's just they had to lock in, and they did. Addison Barger had a game. You know what? Player of the game, Addison Barger. Dude, the freaking at-bats that man had, amazing. What a bounce back. He didn't really field the ball, but that bats he had, he tried to make things work for the Blue Jays. Addison Barger tried to make things work for the Blue Jays. Damn good at bats off of Schlittler. And even the bullpen, really. I thought he looked good tonight. Clement as well. Vladdy, of course. Vladdy looked good. Kirk, I want more, but okay. George, he had his moments. Santander, please, God, sit him. No more Santander. No more Santander, please. All he can do is have long at-bats. No more Santander. Just go with Lucas. And Schneider. No more Santander, please. God. Take the hit. You're winning without him all year. Why put him in now? Same as Bo. Like, well, that's harsh. Bo gets healthy, I want him to come back to the lineup. We played well without him when he was injured both times, most of the time, but now I want him back in the lineup. But still, why mess with what you have going? Bo, at least, you could be like, yeah, he gets on base, he gets hits. Yeah, we can mess with it a little bit. They'll probably do just fine and look better. Santander's the opposite. Like, yeah, he could draw out long at bats, but what else? His fielding's ass. He's not a good hitter. He's getting hard contact, but either to gloves or foul, and then he'll strike out. Like, okay. I mean, I'm not sold. But other than that, the Blue Jays played a team game today. Like, they played the way we know how to play, or they know how to play. And let me tell you, this game shows you what the Jays lacked 10 years ago. This is what the Royals did to people. This is what other teams have done to people. The Yankees were us from 10 years ago. All they could do is hit home runs, and they can't really field, and they honestly feel worse than the Blue Jays of 10 years ago. But us, we have a good bullpen when it's good. We have good starters. We know how to situationally hit. We know how to hit home runs when need be, but we know how to move the line. We know how to play small ball and get runs when we have to. We know how to play fundamental baseball. And when fundamental baseball looks good and it's rolling, it's rolling. And damn, the Jays are mostly rolling. You know, I'm so happy to see them go to the ALCS. And it's awesome. I'm not buying that ALCS shirt, though. It's ugly as shit. The black and white Jays logo with just the letters ALCS. Now, I'll wait for the American League Champion shirt, if that so comes to pass. I got the Division Champion shirt. I'm good. Saves me some money, I guess. With that being said, the Blue Jays win. We move on. We'll see you soon, Seattle or Detroit. We'll find out. The only team to advance from the division series tonight when all four series could have ended, and we're the one that nobody expected to advance with a bullpen game. You love to see it. That just sums up our season, doesn't it? By the way, the Yankees lose. Get out! With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send some chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlists. Share some friends and family. All that great stuff. I will be guesting on somebody else's channel to preview Jamaica Curacao tomorrow. And then we will be live at 9 p.m. Central for Honduras versus Costa Rica CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. And then on Friday, we just have one game to talk about because the Jays ain't playing a Game 5. That'd be Australia, Canada, live RSR. So no double on Friday. Awesome. With that being said, I will see you tomorrow. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. Let's go, Blue Jays. Come on, baby. Let's go. What a win. Let's go.